Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to DevChatter. My name is Brendan. This channel here is DevChatter and we are going to write some code today. Let's see. So, brief intro to explain to anyone that's new here how things work. If you want to chat with us and discuss the program we're working on, whether that be the code we're doing today or any other code we're doing, feel free to chat. You can see it over there on the side of the screen. People here are pretty friendly, so feel free to ask questions, make suggestions, anything like that. We're a welcoming community. If you are someone that is interested in chatting with us outside of the stream, the best place to do that is our Discord. So links in the chat as well as down below the stream. The code that we're working on today, as most of the code we do here is, well, C# or JavaScript are the common languages we use, though we, really don't mind other languages. Those are just the common ones that we use here on the stream. There are a lot of great languages to solve various problems, so pick whichever one you like. We're going to do C# with .NET Core. If you are not familiar with C# and .NET Core, the short answer is that .NET Core is the new lightweight version of the .NET, I guess I'll say .NET Framework is technically like a rewrite of .NET Framework, so it's not really like built on it. It's not the same thing. It runs on Windows, Linux, Mac, and really, I'll just say cross-platform because you can really put it anywhere. Currently lightweight, at least. That's fair, SB. I don't know if it's going to get bloated as time goes on, but yes, right now it is lightweight, it's fast, it is nice, we enjoy using it. So even the WPF app that you see above my head, that is a .NET Core 3 application, so the current release version is not this that we've got here. We're running on the preview bits that allow us to build WPF applications. When that actually drops, and it becomes like the current release version, all of the WinForms, WPF, the UWP, whatever UI-based application you were building on Windows, those will all be supported in .NET Core now, which is going to be some significant changes to how things work, but generally still the same UI concept you had. So just lighter weight framework for it. Okay, so the code that we're building, what are we working on? As it says right there, we are building a Final Fantasy VII chat interaction application. We've been working on it for a little while now. There's some fun stuff that we... are you... no, S&B. And... okay, so... sorry, let me continue on with this. The application we're building is for Final Fantasy VII. So this other application here, that's Final Fantasy VII. That is a game that came out in the late 90s on the PlayStation as well as on the PC like a year later. Hey, average guy. No problem, S&P. We can talk about it later. Okay, so this is Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII has gotten a ton of re-releases. It's been re-released on like every PlayStation console, but really just the same old version. And they re-released PC versions more recently. I think maybe like 7-8 years ago they released PC versions, which is what this is. And it's sold on Steam as well as you can buy it directly through the company that made the game. And so... this is a very popular game. It's sold millions and millions of copies of this game. Very, very popular. So you've probably heard of Final Fantasy VII specifically, even if you haven't really played the Final Fantasy franchise games. So the idea here is that this still gets played on Twitch frequently, actually. There is still a reasonable number of people that do play Final Fantasy VII, and let me just pull that up. Let me see if I can find the game categories. So this is the Final Fantasy VII category right now. So not tons of people watching it right now, because there are no big streamers playing it. But it has, still a few hundred people that are running the game here. viewing the game here. So this streamer, for example, has like almost 200 people watching his stream as he plays Final Fantasy VII. New discoveries. I don't. Maybe he's looking at new glitches or something like that. I don't know. But there are some reasonable things. If we take a look at videos, here we go. So 6 days ago, this is a Final Fantasy VII stream that has like 20,000 views. Here's another one that has 12,000 views. Here's one that has, 5-some thousand views. So there are people running this game on Twitch. None of the popular people running it are like really popular ones are live right now. But we are building some chat interaction pieces that would be good whether or not you have thousands of viewers, hundreds of viewers, dozens of viewers, doesn't matter. So there are ways for your chat to get involved and to sort of interact with the game as you play. So I'm amazed that all of you have resisted actually, trying any commands. So I'm going to trigger this one since you didn't. So this is the kind of thing that we're building. We're building cool stuff into it that allows chat to sort of get involved with the game. So that's what we've been building. And I'm glad to see that this is working because I changed something and I'm going to show you all what I changed. Short answer lets you use YouTube because, YouTube is such a short. Oh. That's funny. Yeah, so Final Fantasy VII running in what I call rainbow mode. So let's talk about how this works, and let's add some stuff to this application. So we'll just let that keep going because it looks kind of cool. So what's going on here? We are reading the color of this menu right at between each color transition. And essentially what we're doing is we have randomly decided the next color it's going to go to, and we're doing this inside of a loop. Now, when we decide what color we're going to, what our application does is it looks at what the current color is, and then it takes it a step closer to the new color. So it just takes a look at the color and says, hey, I want to get a step closer to where I'm supposed to be, and it applies that change to the color, and we're just incrementing, I don't remember how many times a second, might be like 10 times a second or something like that. It's enough that it looks smooth to, generally speaking, humanize without being like crazy. We don't need like 60 frames a second refresh on the color changing in this. That's like more, that's just going to use up processing power that we don't need to do on a streamer's machine who might be running, in addition to the game, their OBS software and everything else. So if we don't have to put extra load on their machine, I don't want to. So that's essentially what we're doing, is just shifting the color around. We're just slowly changing it. So, ooh, that was a bright color there for a second. Luckily it disappears. Okay. So how's it work? Here's what we do. So we have set it up so that there are essentially a sequence of workloads that get passed to our control. So this is just how we handle our menu color changing. So because competing things could be changing the menu color and we slowly move to the next color, we want to make sure that we're only doing one thing at a time. So we need to synchronize these and basically say, hey, we're going to complete someone's task before we get to the next person's task. So in order to do that, we made a sequence, we made a concurrent queue of these I workloads. And the I workload is just essentially we packaged up a small little object called a workload that's going to contain a bit of state and a bit of behavior. So the state in this case might be the color we're supposed to go to, and the behavior would be how we get there. So if we're supposed to go to a certain color one time because that was the request, that's what the code will do. It'll do that and it'll have the color it's supposed to go to. If we're supposed to engage rainbow mode and be, switching around for a while, it won't have a color chosen. It will just know, hey, I'm supposed to change. And so that's how it'll work. Now here's the change that I just did. So I wanted to make this code a little bit nicer. We used to have inside of this lock, I had the code running that actually did the work. Now, because I wanted to get out of the lock and free it up in case someone else got here and was waiting on the lock for, you know, because they got in here and got stuck waiting on us to let go of the lock, we weren't waiting in there. We weren't doing a long-running operation because we were triggering a task and just firing and forgetting it. So we were like, let go so that I can exit this and end the lock, right? Because we wanted to free that up so that no one else got caught waiting for it. We wanted them to be able to get into the lock, find out, oh, hey, someone else already started, and leave. So what I did was I moved this code out of the lock, and I left a started here boolean there, which I created here. It's just a local variable, and I just said, hey, if we started it here, then trigger this. So again, this should be short, but I figured, hey, if we can do a boolean assignment, then let's do that. Because that just makes it a little bit nicer. That way, if we have to add any additional steps to this, if we need to do anything extra, trigger any special things, the code is already not inside of the lock. So that's the change that I made. The next thing I did is this. I wanted to make sure that we were actually handling, so I wanted to try catch this, essentially. Now, the challenge is, you can't really try catch a task that is fired like this. So if I do this, let me explain. If I do a try catch like this, whoops, and I do a task.run right here, and I just, you know, I just forget about this and I just leave it going, right? If I just do this, right, if an exception is thrown in here, so let's just say I did like a thread.sleep, you know, for 10 seconds and then throw new exception, right? If I did this as my code, it would never get caught by that catch. Gareth, S&B, it is not rigged, I promise. So the idea here is this code would never actually get caught right here. So that would never happen. And the reason why is when we fire off this task, because it's an async task, our code just continues on. So it goes there, it goes to this next line, and it continues on down below. This will never happen. And because of that, we cannot catch an exception that was in there. It's just going to bubble up to the top. We'll have an unhandled exception. So how do we get around that? Well, the way that we do it is we make sure that this task actually gets awaited. So if we were to await this task, then we could catch the exception. But we don't want to await the task here because we want execution to continue past it, and we want this to have been fired off, and we want to forget about it. We want to get out of here. We want to leave this method. So that's where this comes into play. So I made a little extension that just says, hey, go ahead and run this in the background safely. And what we're going to do in here is this is effectively our await. So this is it's an extension method, so clearly it's a static method that actually takes in the task. So this is the task that we had. We're going to await that task over here. So because this is also an async method, we have actually fired and forgotten this method, and this method does have a try-catch block in it. So if this method were to throw an exception, we wouldn't catch it. But this method doesn't throw an exception. It catches an exception. And because it catches the exception, we'll get it handled. Now, I do want to point out that the way this is written, we actually take in the method to do the exception handling. Hey, Wheatlaw. And because we have taken in the method for exception handling, if we don't get one, we don't catch. So we will have an unhandled exception if you don't tell us how to handle it. If we go look back at my code, though, you will see that I have a log method right here that just logs the error. So essentially we're saying, hey, if you happen to get an exception, just go ahead and log it. And that's really all we're doing. We're just saying, hey, log it. So this extension method allows us to catch that, and that's all it is. Which, by the way, means that I don't have to make this an async void. Whereas if I alternately wanted to, because this is getting called and I can't go up the stack all the way, at some point I either have to have a task that we're ignoring, which is a problem in itself, or like potentially, depending on where we get that one, at some point this has to happen. So this lets us get away with an await, and there technically is an async void, but it's our static method that's not going to throw, so no big deal there. Just explaining an adjustment I made to some of our async code that we've got in here. I don't need system threading, which was in there only because of some code that I wrote to explain what we were doing. So that is the change. Committing that code. Okay, let's jump back to what we were working on last time. This is what annoys me about async in a way. It tends to propagate upwards until you run into problems with trying to make methods async. Yeah, so S&B, that is one of the challenges that you can run into with async and await that pattern within C#, and it goes beyond C#. It's not just a C# problem. It was a real issue back before the main method was allowed to be async. So in early versions of .NET Core, yeah, Chef, I saw that Twitter went down. I was actually I was having a Twitter message like conversation with someone when Twitter goes down, and I'm like, why isn't my message sending? That's weird. Let's try it on my phone. Doesn't send on my phone. Huh. Look online and it's like, yep, Twitter's down. So yeah, so the challenge that I was talking about is that in C#, we run our console applications, and thus a lot of other things are run in inside of a main method. So just like, you know, how, like, if you ever use C++, it's the same concept. There's a main method that triggers your program to start. That's the entry point. The challenge is that main wasn't allowed to be async back in the earlier days of .NET Core, and so that created some problems. So it's not an issue anymore because, well, async main is now a thing. So, hooray! Okay, async propagates by design. Yes, Gareth, I mean, that is by design, but you run into problems if you had a synchronous entry point, is the idea. So, yes, S&B, lots of systems have been going down lately. I doubt it, average guy. I doubt it is a cause of that. I think it's, I don't know. I'm not sure why there have been so many of these lately, but yes, I agree it's been annoying. Okay, let's add these settings. I have a to-do here that we added. Let's knock this one out, because that is part of what we're building here. We were building a palette command. Okay, so palette seems like it's part of menu color settings. It feels like it's part of menu colors. So we're gonna say private bool enable palette command equals true. Feel like a really bad storm? Hang on one second. Sounds like there's a really bad storm here. Maybe I'm just crazy. Nope, I'm not crazy. That's a really bad storm. I am not deaf. Oh yeah, hang on. Here, Gareth. That'll solve your problem. Feel free to return that at some point if you like. Now Nightbot will leave you alone. Whoops. Enable palette command. There we go. Okay, so this code right here, the enable palette command. So, quick explanation for anyone that hasn't seen how we've got these structured, because I actually like the way that I set this up. So, inside of our base command, instead of taking in these values for what they are, because I want everything coming out of settings, essentially the base object of my commands don't take in whether or not the command is enabled. Instead, what they take in is a lambda expression. So they take in an action, really, well, a function, because it's got to be a boolean. The function that they take in is going to accept the current settings as the parameter and return back a boolean. Wheatlol, this is a different program, Wheatlol, and I have taken a look at your PR, but this is a different program, so it wouldn't even apply to this one. But yes, generally speaking, I like it and I need to do something with it, but I need to open up that project and do it. Whoops. Menu, settings, enable the palette command. Yeah, this is the Final Fantasy VII one. Okay, so I added in a setting now. So notice that what I did was, I basically gave it a method. Instead of telling it, yes, this is turned on, no, this is turned off, I gave it the settings. So essentially what these now do is the command will actually check the current version of the settings to see if it's enabled, which means that when the view model, which is bound to the front end, actually changes that value, it automatically enables and disables the command, and we don't even have to worry about it. So what that means is when the application starts, it has all the commands. Like, it sets them all up in the dependency, in the IOC container. When it's configuring all the dependencies, it sets up all the various commands that it's going to need. And it's just at runtime we decide whether or not it should respond. So what that saves us from having to do is figuring out whether or not we need it. Yeah, see? Exactly, S&B. So the funny thing, when we created this command yesterday, we did 4 variations on how to spell palette. Now, what Wheatlol's actually suggesting is that we, essentially use a tree-based approach to detect, essentially how far off their typing is from any of the command words that we're using, and essentially that would give us a fuzzy approach, so we can say, like, yeah, they were kind of close to this one, they probably meant this command, we'll give that one to them. Which is a really cool way of handling commands. So if you've ever used a program where you typoed something and it said, hey, did you mean this command? A lot of times that's using a fuzzy approach to figure out what command it thinks you might have been trying for when it could not find the command that you typed. So there's 2 approaches to that commonly. There's either use it to just make it work, or just try and get it right. Hey, Lumen, welcome. I should add, I have no idea what that is, Coding Gorilla. But yeah, the idea is if you don't know how to spell palette, don't worry about it. Okay, so we now have a setting for whether or not that's enabled. Since I'm adding these right now, we're going to do that. So the next one is these command words. So these are the valid words that you could type in order to run this command. Any one of those will do. So let's remove this. And instead, we're going to say palette command words. So palette command words. So we need to go to command word settings. Command settings? Yeah, there it is. Command settings. Found it. Private. String array. This is going to be palette command words equals that. So there's our choices right there. Now we're gonna go down to wherever I declared these. We're gonna swap that for a capital P. And we're gonna scroll down to here. Do the same thing. And if we jump back over here, that red squiggle should go away. So essentially what we do is instead of hard coding in what the values are here and making this know what they are, we instead move the defaults over into our settings file. So these are the default values. None of these are permanent values. The reason why is that we want to have a set so that anyone that runs the program can, have these work out of the box. But they can change them. And I will show you how that works because, hey, we're making it happen right now. So what are the commands? What can I show? So help text will display. So we'll do that. Okay, so here's our program. We're going to go ahead and connect this. And notice it says hi in the chat. Welcome, Lumen. Prepare to see the magic. So first thing, if I do the palette command, cool. Responds, says, hey, I'm the palette command. Yep, you called me, sure. But you didn't do it right, so here's some help text. But I could also type in palette, like that. And it can still figure it out because we put in those alternate options for how to do it. Let's take a look at the settings. Wheatlaw, that's good. Magic the Gathering. Okay. Oh, I didn't put it on this page yet. Okay, well, you know what? I can do this. We'll show you with another one of the ones. I didn't put it on the display yet. So, let's show the help command. So, the help command responds back with this stuff. Cool, works. But I could also make help work. So, we could say help, and the help command works. We could make the help command respond to Lumen. So now the Lumen command responds back with help. So you can put in any words that you want, and it runs just fine. I just got rid of Lumen, sorry. But that's the idea. Notice now it doesn't work because I removed it. Even I can't type it. So thanks, S&B. Yeah. So that's the idea, is like live. Whatever command you've said is the words for that command, that's how it responds. So you can just go and edit any of these for whichever one you want. Now, if we then also applied the fuzzy searching that Wheatlaw was suggesting, we could make it so that it would match on those as well, which would be really, really cool. No, Gareth, that was the bot that said use T4 for that. We didn't actually have a fuel snable appearance. Although, I bet Wheatlaw would also probably say that we should be using T4 for something. Okay, so that is how that's set up. So I want to display that T4. Oh, good, Wheatlaw is not a T4 guy, see? So we don't end up with another person yelling about T4 templates. Oh. Yes, Gareth, this is where you're supposed to say that we should use F#. That is totally fine. Moan what? Moan what? Alright, so let's go ahead and commit these changes. So this creates a palette command that is not done. Actually, let's wait on this commit. So this is the piece that gives us the command word settings. This gives us the enable, disable settings, and then this is the command itself. So we'll commit that, but I first want to change a couple of things because we didn't actually do anything with this yet, so let's actually make this happen. Gareth. Oh yeah, you've been doing a lot of C++ lately, which is good stuff. So that spits back that. We're saying word list. So palette list. Show current palette list. Get all palettes, display primary name only. Okay, so color palette. Collection. I think this is what we want. Whoops. Public static list. Derp. So all. So we will select the names dot first. I think they're required to have one. I don't think you can have. I don't think you can have no names. I think you have to have one in there, but I'm not 100% on that. So let's just do this and that, which is not really the answer to this, but it'll work well enough. So we'll say message equals this. And then Twitch client send message command. Whoops, I am not passing in the command data, and I need to. Command data channel message. So this should spit back all of the palettes that are currently available. Command data. Okay, let's give it a shot, see what happens. I guess C++ is nice. Yeah, so C++ is actually a much better language than it was before. So not that C++ was bad. C++ has always been a good language, but at least I think so. But it has gotten some nice upgrades in the past. Classic Brendan Suna Strife. There we go. So, yeah, so essentially, Lumen, we just wrote a quick thing here. We just said, hey, grab the collection of all palettes that we have available, select the first name in the palette, go ahead and join them together in a string, and so that's what that message was that it spit out in the chat over there, where it said Classic Brendan Suna Strife, except that I want this to be commas and space, not like this. So make it a little bit nicer, and there we go. Negative 200 is also more than negative 1,000. You talking about the people that watch the stream, Wheatlow? C-sharp? Better language that was before. Oh, yeah. Oh, it was the C-sharp, yeah. C-sharp is a better language than it was before. C-sharp is a very good language. So is C++. Python's a good language. JavaScript is a good language. Just don't say that in some places for any one of those statements I've just made. You can find controversy with any of them. Okay, create a new palette. So when we create a new palette, first thing we need to do is check permissions. You know, to be honest, S&B, I actually never had to use Fortran, so I can't say on that one. I know a lot of people that use them, but the only people that I know that actually use Fortran are in like academic sciences. They're not like, you know, like I don't know anyone that still uses it in like the business world in any capacity. So I'm sure it exists, but I don't know of it. Let's see, what permission set do we want for this? So clearly we're going to allow the broadcaster. So we're going to say if it's not the broadcaster, and command data.user is not me. So I'm going to allow the bot to always do this. and command data dot user, and it's not a mod, so we will allow the mod for now. Then return. So we're basically saying, hey, if they didn't have permission, just, you know, don't do anything. Let's see. Can I state the opposite, though, for all mentioned languages? Wheatlaw, you can always make statements about that, but yeah, we're pretty open about languages here. There are a lot of great languages and frameworks for doing stuff. That's really the important thing, is that you pick a language or a framework that works well for you. You must code for a living, right? And when you get home, you also code. I want to have that kind of passion. Did you, Chris? Yes, I code for a living, and I also code when I get home on some projects. That's part of the reason why I always suggest to people, when someone says something along the lines of, hey, I want to practice coding, but you know, I'm having trouble staying motivated. My short answer is, do a project that you find interesting. So hence why the project we're working on, while it is a WPF app, so that, you know, works well for what a lot of people would be interested in, because that is going to be coming around. If you do support a WPF application, you're going to have to shift that to .NET Core 3. I might have to do that with clients at some point. I have yet to do that, because obviously I'm not going to put a client on the preview .NET Core 3 yet. But yes, do things that you find interesting or are going to be useful to you. So it is possible that I will do a Final Fantasy VII stream using my own program. That would be fun. It is also possible that, you know, I won't ever do that, and that's fine too. I still find it fun and interesting. If someone were to use this program on their stream, I would absolutely show up and run it. It would be a lot of fun to actually get interacting with that. So that's the big thing, is if you're going to do anything at home, make sure that it is something fun. Because if you just do additional project work when you get home from work, it's just gonna drain you. So that's the short answer. So make sure that if you program outside of your job, make it some fun. Yes, as Wheatlaw says, yes, yep, it's all about loving what you do. Have you seen a Java developer smiling? Yes, I have actually seen Java developer smiling. Have you ever seen me smile, except for the moments when I bash C#? Wheatlaw, I smile at the beginning of the stream every time. What do I think about Golang? Is it then C# or Java for backend? I want to know your... Oh, is it better? Oh, okay. I see. Is it better than those? So the short answer that I would give to anyone on that is the backend code that you're going to run for an application, assuming that a language can solve the problem that you're trying to solve, you can really choose from any of those. So make a choice based on your comfort zone, your team's comfort zone. So if you're on a team where everyone knows C# or Java or, you know, Python, or if your team's already front-end developers that know JavaScript, for example, you might do Node. And the idea is, if you really need to be on a certain platform, or, you know, maybe you can be on Docker, that might be what determines what language or framework you choose. There are reasons for all these things. If your company's invested in, you know, I don't know, like maybe they actually just straight up want to put everything on Linux and all the developers are running Linux. Well, okay, you know, you have a lot of options available to you if that is your company's stance. Within the .NET space, for example, in C#, you'd have to do .NET Core. So if .NET Core for some reason could not do what you needed because maybe it was deficient in some area, then don't use it. Use something else. The short answer is I wouldn't really say that one's better than the other. I prefer C# for this stuff, but Java can handle everything that we're doing here just as well. And in fact, so could JavaScript. There's nothing we're doing here that requires that I do C#. I could really choose any language. And I'm hoping that regardless of your language choice, you still follow along, watch, and enjoy what we do here, because it's the same, I mean, it's the same code, right? We're, like, in a lot of cases, we're just doing different stuff. And yes, as Gareth points out, if you are on Linux, you could just do mono instead, and that would line up well with full framework. Yep, that is very correct. Okay. So, we said, hey, if you're not the broadcaster, you're not me, and you're not a moderator, just go ahead and return, and that'll be our, permissions check. So if you aren't one of these, get out of here. You can't create new palettes. Okay. Create a palette. So we're going to take a look at the command data. We're going to take a look at the arguments. So how are we going to structure this? So this is the list of arguments. So this is currently turned off. Good. So we're thinking palette new wheat lol and it's going to be, hang on one second, everybody. C# colors. So I'm very open to, like, choose the one that makes the most sense for your circumstance. I don't think there are bad choices. So let's go with alright, we're gonna have yellow, goldenrod, light goldenrod yellow, it looks like the name is, and then tan. There we go. Okay, now just to test it out, let's find out what that color palette actually looked like. So we haven't made the command yet. I just wanted to type that. So whoops. Hang on. And try that again. Only without the obvious compiler error of our incomplete code sitting around. Okay, so here's what our code does. So I showed everybody rainbow mode, but I didn't show you all this. So there we go. And if you didn't guess, I was trying to choose a color palette that just reminded me of, like, wheat. So, like, like wheat, like the grain, and that was like a wheat lull joke there. So this is the wheat lull color palette here, potentially. So yellow goldenrod, light goldenrod yellow, and tan. Oh, Gareth, what is this? That doesn't look like wheat at all. Yeah, so we haven't actually made the wheat lull palette, but I know, right? No, it's not that bad. I'm going to drop a breakpoint there because we are debugging. So let's go ahead and do this again. So when I do the new palette, here's what we get. We come in here, and I'll toss this in the immediate window so we can kind of see it. Command data dot arguments. So these are the arguments that we got. So the first one is new. That's what got us in here. We can ignore that one. The ones that we do want, we want wheat lull and the 4 colors that came after it. So that's name, and then the remaining ones are the colors. So that tells me string palette name equals arguments element at or default 1. So that gets me index 1 because that's where that stuff is. And top left equals command data arguments element at. You know what? I don't want to do the element at or default. That's just annoying. So I'm going to do it this way. I'm just going to say if command data dot arguments less than let's see, new wheat lull, so 6. It's less than 6, return. Whoops, count. So that'll give me the top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. So top right, bot left, bot right, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's the values for that. So that gets us our colors. Now, what do we do with it? Once we have it. Let's do this for now. Let's send a message. Do we want to? Ah, geez. What do we do with it? I want it loaded into the current palette collection. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can either maintain a palette collection in the IOC container that's just there. Yeah, Coding Gorilla, this is going to be moderator only, so I'm not going to filter on the name. Your moderator shouldn't be doing that. Converts a named or hex color into... That's my code, isn't it? I think that's my code. Yeah, Coding Gorilla, that's a... I mean, I kind of agree, but if someone wants to, like... For example, if a stream is rated, you know, mature, I don't have any problem if a mature stream wants to put swear words in there, for example. Your moderator shouldn't be doing that. Quote, and your moderator shouldn't be doing that. You moderate. Oh, I said you. Well, I typoed it. I'm not going to fix it either. I can safely assume the dictionary of bad words contains no people's names in it. Programmers believe about names? I wonder what falsehoods we believe about names. Probably a number of them. Okay, so if we pull those out, that's top left, top right, bottom. Thank you, Strike Force Badger, for that follow. Much appreciated. If top right text is color, and bot left text is color, and bot right text is color. if they are all colors. Then we want to come in here, create a color with it. I guess we don't care what we're gonna not care what the palette name is, so new color palette that has a new menu colors object in it, and it has a name that is palette name. That was a params array. This is going to get extracted out as menu colors. This is the palette. This is going to be top left equals top left text dot to color. Top right text dot to color. Bottom left text dot to color, and bot right text dot to color. Very nice. So that gets me the color. Then I gotta figure out what I want to do with it. But the numbers aren't really accurate. Take care, Gareth. That quote, S&B. Oh man, that I don't even remember I don't remember what the horrible thing is that I did in that quote. I can't remember exactly what I did. Whatever it was horrible, and it was a lot of fun to do. I remember saying that. I just don't remember what the thing was. It was really horrible. It was so much fun though. It was so every once in a while I get the opportunity to, something comes along where I'm just like, wait, there's a really horrible way to do this. I'm gonna do this, it'll be funny, and then we do it, and then we get rid of it and we don't actually push it that way. But it's so fun to do those when you're like, there's a really awful thing to do that someone will get, bent out of shape over. Because there's craziness in code. You bet it's still there. S&B. Oh, come on. I don't know. Maybe it is still there. I'd have to look. Now I want to go find out what that is. That's yeah, I can go. I could go look that up technically. See if I could find when we made that quote. Color palette. Let's see. Oh, Strike Force, you want to see what that does? Here. I apologize about this blech that exists right now. Here's Strike Force, try it again. So, we have given chat control of menu colors in... No, you just have to type something else first, Strike Force. You just type in, ASDF, and then you can type in menu random again. Yeah. See? So, menu random. Developers. Hey, CLW and friends, welcome. Thanks for that raid. Greetings. And I'm right in the process of showing everybody what we're actually working on. What a lovely day. And I can't read your name, but welcome. Thanks for that follow. Much appreciated. Welcome, raiders. Please meet our chattosauruses in raiding combat. You'll see them with swords up. CLW, greetings. Hello. And yes, if anyone is a fan of Final Fantasy VII, you are going to recognize what is up here. And please do be sure to try out these menu commands that I'm going to show there in the chat right now. Thank you for that follow. Anybody else that is in here? Oh, hey, there we go. It says Vile in that view. So, welcome, greetings. Hello, Raiders. My name is Brendan. This channel is DevChatter. We are on our, like, 208th episode or something like that of DevChatter. We have been working on our Final Fantasy VII application. Most of what we do here is C# coding, some JavaScript coding as well. We do a lot of web development, mostly .NET Core stuff, WPF, that sort of thing. We're a very welcoming community, so if you've not been here before, feel free to ask questions, like any legitimate question that you want to know the answer to. We'll try to get you an answer to. I will, or someone else in chat will. And if you are so inclined, we do also have a Discord if you want to chat with us outside of the stream. So seriously, Raiders, try out the menu command. Give it a shot. Type in either menu random, at which point you're going to get a random color palette, or you can say exclamation point random and specify 4 colors. So that'll be top left, top right, bottom left, and bottom right. And it will adjust the display of that menu accordingly. So if you just do random, it just picks 4 colors, puts them in, blends them together, and you get this kind of cool display. Yep. So you can do it like that, or you can just specify 4 colors. And yes, you could do all green, or you could specify 4 different colors. If you do want to do just one color, you don't have to specify it 4 times, you can just say it once. So menu black would just make it black, for example. Like so. And it turns black. Or you can go to one of these cotton candy style colors where you just get these strange blends like this. So yeah, that's how we do it. It's really cool stuff. So the really neat thing is that we created commands for stuff like this. So this is Mako, and if you watch, it's like subtly doing that like kind of Mako effect. So we have you'll notice the green is shifting around a little bit in the background, so it's like a Mako glow in the background. So really cool stuff. So if you've ever played Final Fantasy VII, you probably know that the menu color control is actually in there already. But what we did was we just wrote a little bit of code that just messed with this stuff. So we're actually now here's the really crazy part. We are Vile. I was about to explain what it is we're doing, but yes, Vile just pulled it right. Like Vile figured out exactly what we're doing. And the what we're actually doing is we are altering Final Fantasy VII live while it's running. Now, what I don't remember is how long Mako runs. Hang on, let me just confirm that real fast. What's Mako? Hang on. Mako. Yeah, what does Mako actually do? How long does it go? Not that long. It might be done, actually. Yeah, it's done. That was good timing. It came over right as it finished. So, yep, that's Mako. So, yep, cool stuff. So, as I said, it's altering the game live while it's running. So that's the cool thing that it does. So, we have a bunch of new people here that probably haven't seen this. Yeah, so you can change the menu color. And the cool thing is, you can change the menu color. I don't just have to be in the menu. I can be, doing stuff. Oh, wait, hang on. Before I do that, let me jump over here. Hang on. I have a setting I need to turn on. There we go. Okay. So, if you've never seen this game before, Goat King, thanks for that follow, much appreciated. So, seriously, try changing the menu color while we're playing. Vile, it's actually harder than... So it was not very difficult to find them, but it is harder than you'd expect because there are a whole bunch of red herring values, and there are some other intricacies to how the game uses this data, because it actually doesn't... The value that it uses to display these is not the same as the value it uses to save these, for example. which is weird. So it does, like, I don't know why they did it that way, but that's how the game works. Okay, so this is combat in the game. As you probably guessed, you can actually, while we're in here, change the menu color. So, for example, I can, change the menu color while we're mid-combat, but in addition, I can do some interesting things like this. I just changed, so see how Tifa now has regen turned on. Notice she started glowing. I'm going to make Cloud glow yellow now. In a second. Oh, I have that effect disabled. He will not glow yellow. Haha, just kidding. So I can also do the same thing to Barrett, and he should glow yellow glow red in a minute. And we can do other things as well. So that's paused while I'm not clicked into the screen, so that's why it did that for a second. We could do stuff like sleep top. Now Cloud's asleep. We could do poison top. And then that'll poison Cloud. So we actually can just alter status effects. So Cloud has now been poisoned. So we can actually just do this while we're playing the game. So anyone that's played any kind of an RPG probably also knows that a lot of them allow you to rename the characters. So we did something else kind of cool with that as well. So if you all know, the main character of Final Fantasy VII, his name is Cloud. I'm pretty sure his name is Cloud. Wait, how did that not? Wait a minute. What? Oh, the default was 100. Whoops, my bad. I thought the default was 10. That was my mistake. Yeah, or is it Zach? I don't remember. So I could also say, no, Cloud's name is definitely Brendan. I remember that now. So that's the kind of cool interaction that we've been building into this. Does sleep still affect if they have anti-sleep equipment slot, or does it bypass that game check? That is a fantastic question, Vile. That is a fantastic question. Give me 1 second. Hang on. 18? Okay. Oh, whoops, sorry, I'm not out of battle yet. Silly me. My own things are yelling at me. Okay. So Cloud now has a ribbon attached, because we can also alter their equipment. So the question was, can Cloud get poisoned while he has ribbon equipped? Is effectively the question. It was not explicit. Oh, I should not do this here. I should not do this here. Dang it. Okay. Alright, I'll be quick. If flashing lights are an issue for you, don't look at the screen for a little bit, and I will tell you when you can look again. So we're going to get some flashing lights on the screen. So there are a couple of points in this game where that is a valid warning to give people. This one I don't think is... So yeah, now this one's actually not that bad. The bad one is later on in the game where it's flipping between two scenes back and forth, and it gets really, really, well, not good. Keith, welcome. Thanks for that follow. Much appreciated. So this should force the characters into combat, and we will go ahead and try giving Cloud a status effect. He is equipped with an item that prevents him from receiving negative status effects. So we're going to say Cloud, sleep, top. Nope, he can go to sleep. I forget, or maybe ribbon doesn't affect that. Let's wake him up. Wake up! Nope. Totally can do it. Yeah, he shouldn't be asleep right now. That's funny. Weird. It's also doing 0 to him. I wonder if it's because of the ribbon. Yeah, I'm gonna need to look at this. Because there's something weird with that. I think it's not working right. Yeah, wait, lol. Weird. Yeah, I hadn't tried that yet. That gets crazy. Okay, so resetting the game. Just so we have this up here as an example. Okay. And close that. So I've shown everybody what it is that we're building. It's a cool thing, so hopefully you all think it's neat. I think it's neat. So let's close out of the Mako command. We are working on making new color palettes. So we have named color palettes. So there's a handful of color palettes that we've got. Some of them, so they're built in right now. And the ones that we have are, there's this one, which is the default color palette. So default, classic, whatever you want to call it. Then there's this one, which is my color palette from that I used when I was a kid back in the 90s. Then there is this one. This color palette is named Suna, after a Final Fantasy VII modder called Suna Mods, obviously. And Adrian, hey, welcome! Thank you for the 100 biddies, and welcome to the stream. So Suna Mods is an FF7 modder, and he's actually the guy that gave me the suggestion for doing this, so I tossed him in here because of that. Yeah, no problem, Adrian. It definitely messes up the color palette. Will never work again. That's what biddies do. And then this last one is the color palette of someone that goes by the name Strife98 here on Twitch. And the reason why Strife has a built-in one, Strife suggested the feature to Suna, suggested the feature to me. So that is where this program came from. So I tossed us in there with our default color palettes. So if any of us ever want to see our, color palette from when we were kids, that's the one that does it. So we can each just toss that in there. But then we're going to make it so any streamer can actually put in the ones that they want to do. Yes, Borkin codes! We borked the codes. They're Borkin. Alright. So I want a way to add a new one of these without actually exposing that without actually just adding to that collection, because that's the wrong way to do it. I probably should just make this a read-only collection instead of making a list. Devs need a dark mode palette. Yes, Adam. Everyone needs a dark mode palette. I mean, that's sort of what it is here. Do you want to see what the colors are on these? Here, look. I'll show you Suna's. This is Suna's color palette. Black, gray, gray, and black. Like, there you go. That's that. There's your dark mode. Mine is dark red, black, black, and dark red. There's another dark mode color palette. Strife's is dark green, black, black, and dark green. So we have dark mode handled. We're good there. So all of our named palettes right now are dark mode. Just happened that those were the colors we each used. I asked them which ones they did, so let's make public void add palette to do, save this somewhere, to be loaded later. I'm not going to worry about loading it for now. We're going to add in a new color palette that is going to get passed in. And yeah, that's legit all that's going to happen for now, because we're not actually going to do that. Whoops. So we'll actually make that really do something later. For now, we're just gonna do this, just so that we can see it work, even though it's not really done. So that's the, like, do the work to do comment that we'll put in before we... That's the reminder for me, so I don't commit this, that, hey, there was still another step you needed to do before, you know, this gets committed. That's what I like using to-do comments for. And then if I decide to commit it with the to-do comment, then at least it's still got the to-do comment telling me that I didn't do something that I was supposed to have done. But for the most part, I put those in there as just little placeholders to remind me, don't push this yet, is the idea. Rainbow transparent null exception. Ooh, that sounds fun. Alright, so program is live. So we can, whoops, bring this up. Say menu, let's do orange, red, red, dark red. There we go. That's a reasonable color palette right there. Palette, new, orange. Oh, I didn't actually respond with anything. First off, let's change it. So here it's changed to this, and then I say menu orange, and it goes back to this. So the challenge with this is I've now essentially made it so that you can't do single color orange, but I did end up saving this color palette. So we can create named palettes this way. We now just need to make it save and load, but that does confirm that it works. Thanks for showing this. You'll check it out for now. Take it easy. Oh, take care, Vile. Thanks for stopping by if you're still here. Is there a way to view all of the to-do comments through this? Yes, James, there absolutely is. So that is one of the reasons why I don't mind telling people to do to-do comments, is because there is a task list. So right now, I have a bunch of things that just say to-do add to settings screen. And the reason for that one is that I'm planning on overhauling how the settings screen works. So for now, I'm not adding those to the settings screen, because when I do, I need to overhaul how that works. Yep, take care, Val. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for following. Hopefully we'll see you in some future streams. So we always try to do fun, cool stuff here. Not always game-related, sometimes just regular web apps, but always try to be fun. Yeah, so James, this is absolutely where you want to look in any application, because this will tell you right away like what kinds of stuff people have left in there as to-do comments, because it's very common to do that. Yes, Wheatlaw, you could just do a find everywhere on to-do. This will specifically only find them if they're in a comment, though. So this just checks comments for them. And you can also adjust where you want it to look, so it doesn't just have to be the whole solution. You could just say, like, where are they in the project? So will it find them this way? Yep, it'll find them this way. Yeah, so if you just do a resharper, so if you run resharper or writer and you do the find everywhere on to-do, it can find them here too, and you can jump to them that way. So there are so many ways of getting to that. You can do a search everywhere. You can do the find everywhere trick like that. You can whatever you want to do to find it, go for it. But yeah, it's called the task list. It pops up like this, and that's all the to-do comments. So there aren't that many in here. It's more than I'd like, but not bad. Hey, Cyril Ash, welcome. Greetings. So yeah, that really is not a bad color palette. I don't mind that. Oh yeah, Wheatlaw, that would be good if it showed all uses of a not implemented exception. That'd be useful. Keith, thanks for that follow. I will take that to mean that you're enjoying the stream. And something to mention, since I know there are new people in here right now, if you are new here, feel free to check out our Discord. Wah, wah. I swear I'm gonna go fix it. I swear. I'm gonna do it one of these days. We're gonna do a stream where we go and fix that. It's gonna happen. Sirlash! I will get that running so you can do it. Connect. Whoops. There we go. Fix what? Yeah, Wheatlol, fix what? Exactly. And Crooker, thanks for that follow, much appreciated. Yeah, so link to our Discord over there. Sirlash is changing our menu color. I connect. Oh, maybe Sirlash hasn't done it since I loaded that. Oh, Sirlash, you only did 3 colors. You need to specify a 4th color. That's the problem. It's 4 hex code, Sirlash. You got to do 4 corners. Resharper has a to-do list that also shows the not implemented exception. Oh, Crooker, that's awesome. I didn't know they did that. Menu? Oh, and sorry, Sirlash, in order to do hex colors, you have to do a # before each one. So it would be, you know, like this. Yeah, like that. There you go. That'll do it. Yep. This one? Wait. No, if you actually want the best color scheme, it's this one. This is the best color scheme right here. Lime. Lime's terrible, actually. Oh, Sirlash, you want... oh, hang on. There you go. There you go. You got random there, Talanasty. Yep, it's good stuff. You can change it to whatever you want. Menu previous. There is no menu previous, Sirlash. But hang on, Sirlash, I got you. I got you, man. I got you. What did you do? You did white, black, white, black. Here. Sirlash, you can do menu. Right? Wait, did I type that wrong? Oh, bulk. That wasn't a valid color. Typo. That's what I get, because we just wrote this. I don't have any actual feedback on whether or not it worked. Or whether or not we errored out of it. So there, menu Sirlash. There you go. So now if anyone randoms it, you can just menu Sirlash. And it'll switch it back to the Sirlash menu palette. Yeah, anyone want to spoil it for Sirlash? Anybody? As soon as I stop the program, it will lose that because we're not actually saving it right now. So you can use that command up until I close the program, and then it'll stop working. But hey, it works right now, and you haven't even tried it once. Yep, so that's the stuff that yeah, there you go, see? Works. Alright. In all seriousness, though, I am actually going to close it because we want to switch back to this. Because in order for this to actually be useful, we need to get a little bit of feedback. So let's invert this if. So instead of just returning, let's wrap this in some parens and return, because we want to say Twitch chat, send message into command data channel one of those colors was invalid. And I'm not going to bother figuring out which one. That's a task we can do later when nicing it up. This, we're just going to display the help text if you didn't get the right number of parameters to us. So, display help text, passing in the command data. If you're not a mod, we're not. If you're not allowed to run this command, we're not even going to respond to you. I'm not even going to tell you that. It's not worth it. Okay, and then if we did add it, we do want to tell you added the color palette. So we're going to say $, added a color palette. Where's the palette name? Added a cool. Yeah, Wheatlaw, that'd be awesome. There you go. Well written, good suggestion, Cyrilash. Let's take a look. So, palette, new, kappa, lime, white, lime, lime. You know, before I create this, let's see how bad it is first. Is this really awful? It's not actually as bad as I expected. Is this worse? No, that's better, actually. Yeah, I still think this is the worst one, so let me get rid of that while we do that. Yeah, I almost made it usable there. So the suggestion was that we do something like this. Lime, magenta, yellow, blue. Oh, and then just thanks, Field Agreed, for all the magenta. If you want to do a solid color, you only need to specify that color. You don't need to actually specify all of them. That's a nasty color right there on this. I mean, it's not a bad color, but in that in that quantity, that's pretty harsh on the eyes. Let's go back to random. Random actually comes up with some really nice color palettes, to be honest. Cyrilash, yeah, that's the plan, is to make that actually work. Field Agreed! Coming in with a 2-month Twitch Prime sub, and I agree, magenta is awesome. In smaller quantities than the entire screen. So, yeah, Cyrilash, your suggestion of tying that into the overlay, that is actually the plan. So the colored overlay that we actually have in here, no, I mean like mine. See that yellow that I've got around the screen? That's what I'm talking about. That is supposed to be tied into a color command that I don't have turned on right now. So, for example, there you go. Congratulations, Field Agreed. Magenta is awesome, right? Magenta is awesome. Now our overlay is magenta. So we can do whatever color we want in there, and I wrote a little program that sort of ties into it a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to actually build our new overlay at some point. So I want to update it so that like the overlay is all done by us instead of right now. It's a mishmash of stuff that we've built into our own bot and things that are built into Streamlabs. So we leverage Streamlabs for everything that's in that far column. That's all Streamlabs run. But everything else on the screen is ours, except for we do use Streamlabs alerts as well. So that's kind of just what's in there. So, yep, good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so color palettes. Saving these. How do we want to save these? I have been waffling on actually creating a database for this. Other people need to be able to run this, and I like the idea of having like text files because other streamers and yeah, exactly, Field agreed. We might do JSON files because a lot of streaming tools just run off of files and they know how to write to files. So because so many different like streaming tools do that kind of work, it makes sense to store stuff in files because they can read it as well. Hey, Coated Beard, welcome. Long time no see. You made it to the stream. So the thought being, if you can make it work, why not make it work? Dungeon Smasher, you're a fan of YAML for config. Yes. Finishing up work. Yeah, sadly I don't finish up work at normal finish up work times. It's the problem with being independent. I just get to work at any random hour, which is one of the reasons why I'm able to stream during the day, is because if I stream during the day, then I just get stuck working in the evening, which is fine. Such is the way of things. I would otherwise be streaming in the evening, but I like this timing better. Okay, so people get off work before 1 a.m. Yes, Cyril, some people do. How do we want to do this? We can wire into the palette collection changing, so we can make it so the palette collection is like a bound object that that the data of it can change, and then we could show that in the UI of the WPF application, or we could, for example, just make it so that the actual commands that save things are wired into some kind of data storage, and we write it based on that. Don't know on that one. I do like the idea of going with JSON file storage for it, just because then someone could come along and alter it. Like just in the program, like they could just alter the data without running the program if they wanted to. They could, save the file if they were so inclined as well. They could share it with someone else, which is much harder with a database to be able to share just the file of your color palettes. So if I had a really cool set of color palettes and someone else wanted to use it, it'd be nice if I could just send them this file and not have to send them the whole thing. That being said, we could build in an export thing, but if we're going to do that, we might as well just do the file storage as our starting point anyway. So let's do that. But I'm thinking that is going to be to do save this somewhere to be loaded later. So somewhere is going to be save this to JSON file to be loaded later. Wire this up to accept the data and load into the collection. So those are the two pieces that we need to do in order to make this work. Sounds like a plan. Where to go? Let's see. You could also make the storage abstract. Yeah, we'll put it somewhere. It's probably going to be in a. It's going to be in something that does it. We'll see. I was suggesting that it could be responding to an event or something like that, but in some way that's going to need to get loaded. Oh wow, field agreed. Yeah, an INI file. That's brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? I should totally do that. I'm all about that. Yeah, INI files. Absolutely. What a great idea. That's not a great idea. That was a joke. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. So first off, I'm going to click a button suggesting to all of you that you check out our Discord, as that is a good place to chat with me and the rest of the DevChatter crew outside of the stream. I am also going to link you to our YouTube, where you can find the archives of all of our past episodes, as well as our new series DevChatter Basics, which if you haven't heard about DevChatter Basics, I am actually doing recorded video now for some of our episodes. My goal is to try to do one episode a week, coming out on Saturdays, so I am working on an episode that is going to be all about types in C#, so just basic information to make sure that people are on you know, good foundation of understanding what types actually are in C#. So if you're not an expert in that, that would be something to watch, and hopefully you know, help you build that foundation. So the goal of DevChatter Basics is to get you a good foundation of things. So we also did an episode, so this was last week's episode, that was on extension methods. And I'm also working on an episode about interfaces. We're going to do a bunch of different topics, and it's going to be fun stuff. So hopefully you will enjoy those videos and give them a watch. They're over on our YouTube channel, as I mentioned, so feel free to subscribe at youtube.com/c/devchatter to make sure that you see those. And it's also a good way to catch any episodes that you miss of this. Lastly, I'm going to toss a link to my Twitters over there, and I already told you to join the Discord. So, here is the plan. I do need to wrap up today. I started the stream a little bit late, but we are still going to raid someone, so I ask you, don't go anywhere. We're going to go on a raid when we get over there. All that I ask that you do is say hi or something like that when we get there. Maybe stick around long enough to hear a spiel, a hello or something along those lines from the stream that we join. If it sounds interesting, cool, stick around and be a welcome addition to that stream. If it doesn't sound interesting, no big deal. You can go do whatever you want or watch another stream. Either way, works out fine. So what I want to do now is roll our credits. We'll be back to this hopefully on Saturday when we should have our next stream. So I like to stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, usually roughly around the same time. It's a little later on Mondays and Tuesdays usually, a little early on Thursdays, although I'm like 3 hours late technically, but not very late from you know, when we would start on a Monday or a Tuesday, and it's in between on Saturdays, so should be good stuff. I will see you all on those, but for now, let's go ahead and roll some credits. No, Wheatlol. I just want to make sure people know how we do raids here. Adrian, thank you for the 100 biddies from earlier. I want to thank our moderators, S&B, and I want to make sure that I thank everyone that followed today. If you see your name on that list, I probably thanked you when you followed. And Field Agreed, thank you for the 2-month Twitch Prime resub, as I recall. And assuming I got that number right. I am going to go ahead and set up that raid, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to actually send us on to the outro screen with some music playing and everything like that. And then we will hop on over into the Honest Dan Games stream. If you don't know Honest Dan, he's an awesome guy and builds little cool like game type stuff over there. But it's all just basic C# programming, so I think you'll find it interesting. It's good stuff. Thank you for hanging out today, and I will see you on Saturday. Happy coding, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week.